Alright, hello everybody, Skyrain here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. Alright, let's get into it. Let's get into this. The new patch notes are live. The super official notes are here. No more speculation. However, I kept refreshing the Chinese patch notes constantly over and over and over again, hoping to find some more clarity, because a lot of times in the global notes they will always miss something, and they have not posted anything new whatsoever, and it's really starting to bother me. I was really hoping to do a side-by-side comparison, of which I normally prefer to do, because they always leave something out in the global notes because it gets lost in translation. But this is all we have to work with this time around, so let's go. A Gilded Dawn. That's very fitting, considering how hard they are going. That is Blizzard and NetEase this turn around with this update. And if you haven't seen it already, yeah, here we go. Brace yourselves, strap in. Anyway, I was gonna say something else, but I'll hold my tongue. Let's see. The Renewal limited time event. This is all the Chinese New Year stuff, so here we go. This is something that you do. You complete dungeons, elder rifts, killing elite monsters, bounties, and defeating Jingun. Will get you, earns you red bags and the, whatever that is called, Sem, I think. I was gonna not try to pronounce it. T-S-E-Y-M. Anyway. Or Seam, or Sem, I don't know, either one. I'll just say tokens. We're just going to call them tokens, right? There is no limit to the number of times you can complete the tasks, of course, obviously, because that's what the whole game is. But there is a weekly limit for how many you can earn, 30 red bags and 100 tokens each week that this is active. So this is going to go on for a little bit. We'll be able to acquire this, and the rewards are as follows. 1 red bag. Now, also, for the red bags, you have to exchange these by gifting. They can be gifted to friends or clan members, that kind of thing, etc. So here we go with the Brumaltine event all over again, except with these bags. Not really a fan of that. It kind of just becomes a lot of clutter. But nonetheless, if you want these things, which this is a substantial amount of what you have to turn in to get these meager rewards. And for 1 red bag you get 1 star gem. Hey, that's cool, right? For just 1 bag. But then you have to do 20 bags. I'd say this should be more like 5 or 10, but no, 20 bags. And of course, as they do a horrible job of descripting here, 2-star legendary gems. So you're like, oh, a 2-star legendary gem, oh, that's cool, how many? And it says gems, so that could be multiple. No, more than likely this is horribly texted out here, and it's probably 2 1-star legendary gems, but they just did not put forth the effort to type that out properly. 40 red bags more than likely is going to be also 3 1-star gems, because what is a 3-star legendary gem? What is a 3-star legendary gem? Those do not exist. That'd be hilarious if they started to put that in now. But no, more than likely those, again, are probably going to be 3 1-star legendary gems, of which they just could not type out for whatever reason. Now, the 60 red bag for 3 rare crests, that's just pretty terrible. They should have put that in maybe as the 1 red bag first, because I feel like the gems themselves are way more better than 60 red bags for 3 rare crests. Get out of here. We're better off going on the Hilt Trader and getting those way easier, and and we get these through other events anyway, way easier than handing out 60 red bags. Come on. But anyway, there's that event. Moving on, because okay, you also get gold, scrap, dust, and a random legendary item throughout it. If you miss a day, there's a catch-up mechanic. You do whatever it tells you, certain quests, kill X amount of monsters, what have you. You can catch up if you miss a day of logging in, so don't worry about that. There's always catch-up mechanics to most of these things. All right, and here is Jingun, Eater of Mountains. It returns again. We had this one last year, so they just kind of rehashed and brought it back again. If you missed it last year, well then, hey, Hi, how are you? Welcome. And you get to enjoy this mini event that and experience it for what it is. It's fine. It's okay. It's whatever. I honestly feel like, though, since this is the year of the snake, right? They could have introduced some form of a giant serpent boss. That would have been kind of cool instead, but nah. Just bring back what they already did before and call it a day. Okay, moving on further down. Lunar New Year Fractured Plane. So this is the Lunar New Year version, and of which that means we get 2 available build options to choose when entering it this time around. So that's kind of cool, because sometimes they give us some builds that don't make a lot of sense. So at least having 2 build options going into the thing this time around, it might be a little bit more feasible and a lot more, streamlined. At least we can hope. The last Fractured Plane event that we had, however, I was not really a fan of. It gave us Chain Lightning buff, which was cool, but then because it gave us a buff, it made everything nearsighted, and we had that darkened circle around our character to where everything was hard to see, and that, after doing like 12 floors of that, got a little much. So I hope to never see that one ever again, but nonetheless, this one's a little bit better. All right, here we go. Here's where it starts. Phantom Gallery. Yep. Spend if you want to get all this stuff here. For your draws. So this is spending, gambling right here. No real way around it. Not really any shortcuts on this one. They've trimmed those up from in the past. Before, you would spend X amount of orbs. Oh no, this is Litra. Well, it's 1-to-1 ratio. And spending the eternal orbs for the Litra as the currency used here in the Phantom Gallery. You get these things down below. And there's eternal orbs in here, which people in the past had spent X amount of to get, and it would balance out. But then the devs got wise to that the next time they brought this event back around, like, oh wait, we screwed up, we can't have this. So then they went and removed that, and then it just made it for a horrible experience since then. But nonetheless, again, this is one of those things, hey, if you want to participate, that's completely on you. That's completely based on your situation and your mindset, whatever you feel. So that's your individual prerogative. So take it for what it is. And then where's the percentage? There's the percentage rates right here. Yeah. Bound fragment, gem fragments, 5 of them for 74% of that draw pull chance at the outset. And then, of course, spend some more. As you go down the list, spend some more to, and then you'll guaranteed to get everything eventually. But for a stupid amount, honestly, in my personal opinion on that. Anyway, moving on. This one here has some merit, and it has some, it's new. For one, it's new, so that's already a good thing. Like, hey, look, we got a new event. And then this one was kind of speculated before it was released. But now, unfortunately, yet again, here we can see it is a pay-to-win event. It's another pay-to-win event, right? They've gone really, really deep into the greedy bag as far as, granted, yes, we all know. Let's establish this now, right now. Mobile gaming market, this is expected, right? But I really wish that Blizzard and NetEase both would, to deviate from what they've been doing for far too long, obviously, because it's not working anymore. It's starting to shoot themselves in the foot. It's only hurting the community at large, the player base, and themselves in the long run here. And it's starting to catch up faster than they realize, I do believe. But they decided to double down, as they always do when it comes to such things like this, and we're going all in on every possible way to squeeze the blood from the stone, as I've said, on the player base to get them to spend in any way, shape, or form. What I mean by that is, this event could be something good. Could be, had they had a different approach to it. Okay, so let's follow along here. The 22nd to the 13th is when this is going to go for. So we have just under a month to try to pull this off. All right, so what you have to do is you have to earn Polished Jade to upgrade your legendary gems, and these are the 5-star gems. What they mean by upgrade is the ranking of them, the star ranking. So you can rank these up in this event, which you think, oh, this is awesome, right? But there's a method to this that you have to do. Earn progress in Gem Surge by using Eternal and Legendary Crests, which are the orange and purple. The ones that we can acquire over time that we have as free to play, or spend, of course, as pay to win. Or also, you can get that by spending Obols in the Phantom Market and Litra in the Phantom Gallery. They're just trying to trick, people out there of, oh, Obols, oh, that's a different currency. Oh, it's 1-to-1 for the Eternal Orbs. And same with the Litra, it's 1-to-1. They just try to put all these different currencies out there to confuse people, I think, at this point, which is absolutely stupid. But, yeah, so basically spend in all those different areas and aspects in order to get the Polished Jade. It doesn't say here, however, at all, it does not say, however, anywhere in here what the exchange rate is. At all. It's like, okay, well, how many crests do I have to use to get 1 Polished Jade? It says nowhere in these notes. So we're going to have to wait until the day when this goes live, the patch goes live, to experience that firsthand. And I would say, honestly, wait until other people go and do it, because they're going to. And then say, oh, this is not worth it at all. So yeah, I was thinking about this one myself, and I was like, well, I only have so many crests, of which I haven't even done the Mirror Jewel, but I was almost about ready to forego the Mirror Jewel this time myself around on purpose, because I saw this, and I was like, well, I'm glad I waited, because this involves burning legendary crests, of which I think might be the reason and the rationale behind them putting this in. They want people to burn them up, and then they'll throw out something else possibly following this, and then you won't have any left to spend and be like, oh, well, I guess you'll just have to buy some more, right? Yeah, so just be smart. Again, these are, I'm trying not to sound too sour about this, but these tactics have gotten very, very old, and I'm just trying to make people that much more aware. If you haven't made yourselves already at this point already, okay? I'm trying to look out for everybody when it comes to these kind of things, and that's why I take a free-to-play approach when it comes to especially mobile games, because they are by design. They are by design to be, mobile gambling. That's it. So, be that as it may, just be smart, okay? Just kind of keep an eye out for these things, and that's why I'm stressing this right now so much as I often do when it comes to these kind of tactics. I really, really, again, wish that they would have gone a different route with this. I really, really wish they would have. Even for 1 Polished Jade, let's say, or even, well, not even the 7. The 7, okay, fine. If you want 7 or you want 22 of the Polished Jades, that's pay to win. Fine, you can have it. But for the rest of us, free to plays, whatever else, have us at least be able to grind it out, do whatever, which I'm still going to try to see how feasible this is, mind you. The Mirror Jewel event I probably will forego, because I know I am not at my pity counter on anything for orange or purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass. I'm just going to let that one drop. It's whatever. I could care less. It's not going to get me as much as I need anyway, regardless of the fact. Even if they are if I do get doubles, it's still going to be 1 and 2 stars, and whatever. I'm going to be seeing what this is all about, and try to go this way and see what happens as far as the free-to-play aspect goes for testing purposes and other reasons. So there we go. Yeah. But keep this in mind too. You can only get 22 Polished Jade total. You can only get 22 total for the event, and that's it. Now, if you want, there's the 22 Polished Jade, as you see right here at the bottom of the list, the 5-star legendary, 4-star quality to a 5-star quality. So you can make a 5-5-star only if you already have a 4 out of 5. And then you have to get the 22 polished jades on top of that to pull this off. But you would have to use the maximum amount of jade that we can get throughout all of this, whether it's feasible or not, especially for a free-to-play, it probably will not be. But those of you out there thinking, oh, I can get a 1, a 7, and then you can upgrade one from a 2 to a 3, 3 to a 4, 4 to... No, you can only do the 4 to a 5 with all of the polished jades because that's all that they're giving us during that event, total. And again, we don't know the exchange rate. So that's a big problem. Huge problem. They need to be way more transparent than this because at this point, it's like, let's face it. Yes, we know, Blizzies, you're, greedy, and this is a mobile game, and that's business, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we're at that point in the game. At this point in the mobile market scene, we know that's the score. Just be completely honest and transparent with us, please. Okay? That way we can know exactly what all is involved. Black and white, straight down the middle. I much more appreciate that honesty when it comes to this kind of stuff. I know that's a huge stretch, but I would appreciate that more so than anything else that anywhere they could provide. And this doesn't go with just, this game. It goes with all of the mobile games in the market out there. All of them. All of them. Be like, all right, if you want this is what it's going to cost. That's it. Put it clear as could be. We'd be far more receptive to that instead of, well, we got to deceive people. We got to get them in this way and so on and so on. Stop. All right? If it's that bad and that's all you're in it for, as far as obviously the mobile game market goes, then a lot of these are going to fail fast, which they already have. And then that's why they just kind of put them on a recycle, reskin, rehash, put out other things. And then you see like, oh, wait, this game looks a lot like this one. Oh, I did like this one for a time. And then you go and play it for a little bit, and then you hit whatever wall in it, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's exactly like the other one. And then boom, there goes that game after X amount of time, and so on and so forth. And that's mobile gaming in a nutshell, isn't it? But anyway, side tangent. Sorry, getting back into it here. I just had to put that in. Like I said, I would appreciate transparency. I would appreciate honesty. I would appreciate all the above in that sense, please. And everything in life in general too. Oh, but that's a whole nother ball of wax, and I could go on for far too much. And the drama on the internet in the gaming space right now too. That happened recently. I might still actually discuss this in another video if you're kind of curious. Let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about it. I have a lot of thoughts, obviously, which is why I'm still going here in the patch notes. So if you've hung along with me and you appreciate that, I appreciate you. And thank you very much for sticking in there. All right, so we get another gem trial. 3-hour base on this one. Only ticks when you're online, so as soon as you log off, you'll keep the 3-hour timer. Pick whichever one of these you want. You'll get a rank 10 5-star of any of these 5-star gems. You can rotate at any point, but you only have 3 hours total for playing around with all of these. So there you go. It's whatever. It's like the free code that they gave everybody to trial gems, and then that's what it was. We didn't get anything out of it other than just here, try this gem out. It's like, oh, I see. So that was a little lame, and a lot of people were pretty upset about that one, and rightfully so. All right, now on to the Phantom Market. You guessed it, pay to win again. If you want everything, this one I'm pretty sure I remember it was the $170 USD for the cost of this one if you want everything. So, hey, if you're, into expensive virtual cosmetics, here you go. Again, it's up to you. You're your own person. Do what you want. But here's where it gets kind of murky even further. Okay. There's the percentage rates. Of course, as you can see, the first free draw that we all get, more than likely you'll get another cheap emote, text emote. Oh boy. Oh boy. But here's what they're adding this time around to entice you further, right? The Celestial Serpents cosmetic come with a new optional feature to upgrade the appearance of the Gilded Snakes. Oh boy. In exchange for Eternal Orbs, you can choose either Temper or... you can... follow along with this, because there's two statements here, two sentences back to back. They say the same thing twice, right? In exchange for Eternal Orbs, you can choose to either temper or polish your cosmetic. Polishing somebody's knob. If you have the Celestial Serpents cosmetic unlocked, you will be able to trade Eternal Orbs to temper and then polish your illustrious garb. Again, they just repeated themselves unnecessarily in these two sentences back to back. It kills me. And then they even put certain words in bold to like, ooh, ah, temper, polish, temper, polish. Anyway, sorry, I'm having a little too much fun with that. And as sickening as this is, honestly, because it's like, oh, and again, this is another thing that they do not list. They do not list the cost. They do not put the cost here. You have to wait until you see it in game. I can only imagine what that's going to be. There's still going to be, obviously, the people that won't even blink an eye and that will do it. Mind you, yes. But the problem with that is you're feeding more into this kind of atrocity that needs to just, everybody needs to put their foot down on and be like, cut the shit. But anyway, polishing introduces a new finisher effect when slaying elites or bosses. A new animation appears to devour your enemy. And tempering enhances the enchanting appearance of the serpent and changes the color of your primary attacks to match the chosen color. So, yeah. All flashiness, all virtual cosmetics. Have at it however you like, if you want to. Like I said, I'm not stopping you. I'm just trying to say, hold up, give it a thought, and we'll move on. But anyway. All right, here we go. During this event as well, we will be able to send our familiars on out to do our bounties for us. We can only guess for now how long that's going to take, because, you know, with the shadow contracts, if you send all 4, that's like 4 hours and something, 4.5 hours, something crazy stupid. Or no, it might even be longer than that. It's something kind of crazy stupid. But anyway, yeah, I personally do like the fact of I send my familiars to do the towers. It's like an hour and a half. I'm like, all right, I don't feel like running around in there right now. I'll put this on the back burner and do it passively with them. So I appreciate this being introduced into the game for what it is. The Herodric Sanctum keys one, I do that one still as well, because that way I know I'm getting 4 keys every single time, no matter what. Sometimes we don't always still get 4 keys. That seems to be somewhat fixed now, but I don't take the chance always, so I'm just like, you know what? Go get my keys for me, familiars. I appreciate that. Thank you. You can still run back through in that to do it for the codex and do it separately, but you won't. You'll see that the first free chest of the gems at the end of it will be gone because your familiars already got it, and you won't get any keys during that run. So it's like, well, it's whatever. But I do actually like this. And honestly, it sucks that they're putting this in as kind of, I suppose, like a test thing. If we want to do it with our bounties, I'd like to see them make this a permanent fixture too and just be done with it. But it's probably what they're doing. They're probably testing it out, see if we like it or not. All right, finally getting around to it here. If you've hung in with me this long, I know this is a podcast. I'm going to pretty much premise this every single time when it comes to these things because I give my absolute thoughts and opinions on this. Appreciate it. I hope. Take it for what it is. This is, again, a free-to-play as mobile game perspective, as always. Like, straight down the middle with this. So, yeah. Non-partner program person, by the way. Non-partner program. Even if I was, I would still tell it like it is. So, keep that in mind, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to be like, this is what this is. Take it for what you will. Here's ways around certain things. Here's ways to improve in a pay-to-win space as best we can as a free-to-play, that kind of thing. So, anyway. Yep, this is the one right here where everybody has already started to bandwagon to the baton twirlers. So, yeah, you'll see. We've already seen it happen. Days before this patch was even announced here in its official format, all it took was a rumor on the wind for people to be like, oh, they're doing that to barbs now. Well, I'm going monk. And here we go. So, which is fine, you know, monk can have their time in the sun. However, they did not years back, but months back, monks did have their time as well for months on end. Let's hope that's not the case this time around. I know I've already had people comment saying, oh, let us have our time. It's like, yes and no, because there's still a lot of other classes, and in the grand scheme of things, we would like to honestly see more versatility, more class diversity, more class build diversity across the board for everybody, so that we're not all playing 2 builds at most on all classes. You know, seriously, there's no fun to that whatsoever. You know, it gets really stale, it gets really old. Like, man, I'd really like to play a different build, but it's not viable, or so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, there's certain ones that if you really dig deep enough, you can make work, but you have to try 5 times or more harder to pull that off. So, yeah, this is, you know, coming back around to this. Yeah, we're going to have everybody bandwagon. You're going to see, if you haven't already seen it, if you know, you know. It's just going to continue to get worse. Hopefully, again, they won't, you know, the devs won't sit on their hands too long about this one and actually adjust that a little bit, just a little bit. You know, they don't have to, you know, completely, you know, trash it, and they say they weren't going to nerf anything. So that remains to be seen. There'll be shadow nerfs, like I said before, but they at least need to tone it down just a tad. But be that as it may, Undying Rage no longer moves the idols, and it no longer stops them in the battlegrounds. So there you go. These other ones, I looked them up. I seen what the skills were. They're pretty much skills that don't get a lot of play, so they gave them, of course, buffs, and hoping that they would actually get some usage based on their data that they receive. And a lot of these cases, pretty much 90% of the time, that still doesn't help them unless they completely transform what they initially did into something else, which they need to go back and do on so many essences. Stop giving us new essences, give us something new. Or not, excuse me. Stop giving us new essences and give us a different version of the old ones, or at least bring them a little bit more up to snuff with the rest, so that we can go back to using them again and, you know, be happier about it. Again, build diversity. But anyway, as you can see, I'm just going to put these on the screen. I've already rambled on long enough on a lot of this stuff. Some of these are kind of weird. I don't know. Some of these are pretty substantial as far as like Demon Hunter, but again, certain pieces get used and other ones not at all, and there's certain ones that no matter what they try to establish and do to them and adjust them with, they still won't get any play. But Necromancer is kind of a weird one. Tempest was, I felt like that was a little unnecessary, but whatever. And Wizard was a weird one too. The Wizards are already talking about this, like, oh, that's cool, we can do more damage to the testing. Basically, we can do more damage to the testing dummy. That's what that boils down to, in my personal opinion. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. You have to do crits with that, mind you, for the Eye Plucker to pull off the shock damage increase. You have to do crits. So, yeah. But, for that particular piece anyway. But yeah, so there's that. And anyway, moving on. Returning events. All this, they show this in a nice. I like this. This is a nice little format here. Returning events. They got the time and date and everything in a nice column, clean, very nice. I like that instead of just taking up too much space on the scroll list here. Feature updates. Now here we go. Again, pay to win. Pay to win some more. Resonance cap has been increased to 13,024 because due to the embedded legendary gem ranks of rank 10 on the other ones. Once you reach the 13,000 resonance mark, you'll gain access to a new tier of resonance wings. How could they get any bigger, right? How could they get any bigger and look that much god awful at this point. They're very gaudy, but whatever. Yeah, so we thought it was bad before, and we've gone from 12,000 something to now 13,024. Yep. So yeah, happy whales, I suppose. Darkwood and Ancient's Cradle monster changes. They've increased the amount of spawning of this, so this is kind of cool. I'm personally a fan of doing stuff in Ancient's Cradle, like hidden layers, because those are actually fairly quick in the Ancient's Cradle. They're not that long. They're kind of like the cemetery, so I like going there a lot, and I just like the aesthetic. I mean, because it's like, you know, Lilith, Diablo 4 kind of stuff in the Ancient's Cradle, whatever. I just like the aesthetic there a little bit more. And granted, now the Terra's Crown area, or the World's Crown or whatever, I do like that area now too. But those are my two personal favorites now, is Ancient's Cradle and the World's Crown area. But yeah, they increased Darkwood. I don't like, only because you have to do the stupid tree of Inifis after you get to a certain amount of corruption, and I'm just over it at this point. I'm just kind of over it. So yeah, I don't really like going to Darkwood if I don't have to. I would rather go everywhere else. But there's that one. Conditional drop rate. This one here, like, it's basically, it's only running for during the event too. So instead of the 50 crest pity counter, this will increase your chances once you use 30, it says. So you use 30 eternal crests, the orange or purple, in a row, and haven't received a 5-star legendary gem, you'll gain a bonus to your drop rates, but they're very, very slight. Okay, this one actually they give the numbers for, which is nice, but you're basically still more likely going to hit pity before you get your 5-star gem anyway. This is ever so slightly trying to entice you to pull more and go for it. But hey, it's slightly better, but when you're talking hundredths of a percent, after, you know, that's only going to get you so much anyway. Display of left and right rings in the update. This is weird. This was extremely weird. Left and right rings now have their icons oriented in different directions for better readability in your inventory. I mean, what does it matter? If you're wearing two different sets or what have you, it's not going to matter which direction they're facing. It really isn't. So this is kind of an odd one. It was kind of an odd one. I don't know. The armory UI improvements. Oh yeah, this one will fill in if you have a missing piece in your loadout. When you say you scrapped it for something better and you just didn't update it, it's gonna slot in something else of the same name that you have in your stash with the highest score, like we discussed in the previous video. So in that sense, it's kind of good that it's not leaving you without anything, but at the same time, you're gonna have to go back over and, you know, pick the one you truly want anyway, regardless. But it's better than nothing at all and having that mess around with your normal gems and reslot them all. That's what I didn't like. Whenever you were missing, you scrap something out, you go back and you reload a loadout, and you're like, oh man, all my normal gems are out of place, they're out of sync, they're not in the same spots where I had them. And then you have to go back through and find them. Oh wait, they're in my stash now, and dig them out of there and reslot your normal gems. It was a pain. So I appreciate this for what it is. So that's good. That's a plus. That's a plus on the plus column. So the few that there are in this one, but yeah. Let's see. Immortal sigil changes. This one's a plus for Immortals too. Whenever you turn in your sigils, we would have to click on those damn things one by one by one. Now you can do them in bulk. So bam, done. Glorious. Yes. That is so much better. I don't know why it took them this long to do that, but hey, better late than never. Survivor's Bane updates. The UI changes. Oh, yeah. Survivor's Bane update. What all this means is on the skills that you select when you're in there, they'll show like, oh, this is a Necromancer skill, or this is a Barbarian skill, or this is so on and so forth. Instead, they didn't do that before, and we just kind of pretty much had to know and guess. But they're putting that on there so you can actually see what class it's tied to. So that's what that change is. Dismantling set items at a blacksmith, quality of life change. Dismantling items at the blacksmith, there are now an option to select multiple set items when dismantling. This again is another weird one here. There's now an option to select multiple set items when dismantling. I mean, okay. Oh, no, they're putting in a little checkmark box at the bottom. They're doing a multiple checkmark box at the bottom. Now, be careful of that, because I still am probably going to prefer to do the other one, because I'm carrying around so many set items that I think I might use, and then ultimately I just hoard and then I don't. But nonetheless, I still like to pick and choose, and then I'll lock down the ones I think I might use just to be safe. So there is that option still, and then you can do the fast, especially when you're doing a lot of dungeons. This is actually kind of a nice thing. This is kind of a nice thing once you figured out which ones you want to keep and get rid of, and that is. So yeah. Friend list updates. Fixed a bug in the friend list which caused characters to be cut off too early. So I'm guessing on the names that you can't read and see who they are, which I hope is what this means, because there's a lot of times you get friend requests to be like, who is this? What character is it? I can't read the whole thing. It's cut off. I don't know who you are. When did this happen? That kind of thing. So hopefully that's what that is. Cinematic mute option. Added an option to mute the looping cinematic that auto plays when your game is updating. Oh boy. So there'll probably be a slider somewhere to where you can mute it so you don't have to hear it, but at the same time it's like, well, we don't want to see it at all anyway. Can we just skip that period? But anyway. Two additional stash tabs. This is probably the biggest win out of this entire patch. 2 additional stash tabs. Thank F. Thank F. Finally. And it costs 2,000 platinum each. So keep that in mind. But honestly, at this point, I am willing to do that. I am willing to spend the 4,000 platinum to get 2 more stash tabs, and permanently. This is not you have to have the battle pass or the empowered battle pass or whatever else to get these things. No, these are permanent. So this is nice. I like this. But that brings up to the point that somebody was upset where we had to do like this certain 2-factor sign-in security code thing that they were trying out for Blizzard, Battle.net, whatever, to where they said, oh yeah, if you do this, we'll get that and roll out that. That's supposedly that feature's still on the way. Last I checked and last I heard in the Diablo Immortal Discord, but I don't know. They said they like, oh, it got delayed again. It got delayed again. So it's another like month delay on that. So I'm thinking that they couldn't figure out how to do it. They couldn't figure out how to do it, so this is what we got instead. But hey, don't tell them I said that. No, seriously, they say they're delaying it, and that's still on the way too, so that means maybe even more space. But I'm not holding my breath to that, and I don't know if they can pull it off. So I'm still holding my ground on that one. Quest UI updates. Nothing too overly spectacular there. New ways to earn Reforged Stones. You can get it from a lieutenant in Westmarch and from participating in Battlegrounds. So there you go. And then supposedly some Necromancer summonings had a chance of despawning, which was interesting. So anyway, all right, there you go. I've rambled on far too long, I'm sure, on this one. If you hung in there the entire time, appreciate what I've had to say, appreciate the perspective I tried to give here, instead of just kind of like going over this stuff verbatim. Let me know in the comments. Obviously, there's still going to be the vast majority of people on the internet, time restraints, all that kind of thing. Hey, you don't have to watch these things in all one go. You can watch it and then pick it up some other point. You can put it on as a podcast, whatever. It's the ball's in your court and at your literal disposal and your fingertips. Consume the content however you choose. That's always been the case for everybody, all walks of life across the board, right? So I'm just putting this thing out here. Let me know what you think about my, what are your thoughts and opinions on all of this that I've discussed here in depth? And as always, stay safe out there in the real world. Far as always, take care of yourselves as best you can. One day at a time. It's all we can do. It's the best we can do. Until next time, everybody. See ya.